I remember, so after basic training, you go to tech school to learn what you're going to do, like learn the skills, go through all the training, everything like that. One of the first speeches they gave to us was, as a female airman, you will be called an air mattress.
What?
An air mattress. And never heard of that before. And she went and said it's because everybody thinks that they're going to be sleeping with you and sleeping on you.
No fucking way.
Welcome to the military. Um,
I mean, I'm glad she said that.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know.
But like,
I don't
it's
know.
just,
Like, are we? I don't know.
it's good that she had that talk, but also like the fact that, again, it has to be talked to the females of like, you're an air mattress. That's what people are going to see you as.
It's fucking insane.
It's sickening. Instead of being like, let's stop this from happening, or give you the resources, or teach you how to protect yourself. It's don't be considered a whore because that's what people are going to see you as. It's the same thing as she's wearing a tube top, so she was asked to be groped kind of situation. And that's the thing. I enjoyed my military experience. I didn't stay in it, obviously, for the 20 years. I did my time and I left because of my experiences, because I was non-deployable, because of surgeries. But that just goes to show that there's a lot that happens in the military that now it's starting to be talked about. Now, I mean, they just, instead of PTSD, it's military sexual trauma.
Okay.
MST is a big thing that's coming out because they are recognizing that this shit happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I can see that. I think what's scary too is the amount. Like, I feel like there's more men sexual assault too.
Oh, yeah. And there definitely is. I mean, what is it?
0.7 is nothing.
Nothing of the military. And that's just who reports it, right? If that's what we're going
I think
off of.
so.
Yeah, because I know, I mean, especially working with the kids, this isn't just military. But guys are a little bit more hesitant about reporting it because, well, it's not talked about. Guys don't have emotions. Guys are seen as weak if they allow something like that to happen. There's shame in all of that. So I think there definitely has to be more men other than what it's 3% of American men, or 1 in 33 have experienced an attempted or completed rape. 1 out of every 10 rape victims are male. I feel like that number is skewed just because of how much shame and guilt and fear there is behind the stigma of I got raped. Well, is it rape if your penis was erect? Did you enjoy it? Did you come or
That's
orgasm?
the one I've heard.
Yeah.
Like the did you come?
Yeah.
And it's like you can't control your body's reaction.
No,
It's still
exactly.
a no. And that's one of
Exactly.
the things, the statistics that I thought was very. I'm curious what you think of. As of
Mhm.
1998, 2.78 million men in the U.S. had been victims of attempted or completed rape.
And that's compared to, as of 1998, 17.7 million women had been victims of attempted or completed rape. I definitely feel like those numbers are higher. I mean, they have to be. Of people not reporting for unknown reasons.
Do you think they're both higher?
I think they're both higher. I mean, look at us. We're 2 people who
Didn't report.
didn't report for own reasons. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, now that looking back at your military experience, all right, did you wish that you reported to your commander?
Yeah. Yeah. Do I think it would have been taken seriously? At that time, no.
What do you
And
think?
this
Why?
isn't
Why do
me
you think that though?
because just of the way the military was then. Do I think they need to be removing the pinup girls and stuff like that from all the aircraft and everything? No, because that's part of our history.
I was so confused where you were going with that. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Because like now it's changing to we have to protect. There's now programs in the military
Right.
for sexual abuse, for all of that. However, part of the history is also the pinups. It's that
Yeah.
appreciation. There's tattoos. It was artwork that was on aircraft. I don't think that needs to be removed. But I do think more talk needs to happen about let's not harass women or men. Let's not abuse women or men in the military. And I know that part of it does come from trauma. Obviously, mental health is the big one that comes behind it.
I think also hazing.
Yeah, yeah,
I think
exactly.
hazing is something that wasn't really addressed here, but I think
No,
hazing, I can imagine in the military is a lot. College
yeah,
campuses, specifically fraternities and sororities,
yeah, yeah,
like people, like kids have died from
yeah, exactly.
hazing.
Yes. So I think, should I have reported? Yes.
But that was my
Um,
question.
yeah, I
Right?
should have. And I feel at that time,
You were
it
saving
wouldn't,
yourself a lot of pain.
yeah, yeah. I was new. I was already, I was underage drinking, all of this stuff. It would have been put back on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that um it's it's very confusing to me why it's always put back on the victim. I've
Yeah.
never understood that. It doesn't make sense to me. I'll never
Mm-mm.
forget the Brock Turner case, where I know, where this swimmer, blue-eyed, blonde-haired
Yeah.
guy, he brutally raped a woman who was unconscious behind a dumpster.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what the judge said to him? The judge said, "Oh well, I don't want to ruin his future.
Yeah.
He looks like a
What about
he
hers?
looks like a fine young man. He got only 6 months."
Yeah. And then he got released and he did it again. And that just goes to show how it's the victims. The amount of times while I was doing forensic interviews, I heard a lot of judgment on the victim of, well, she was wearing this, or she shouldn't have been out, or, she's the curvier one, so I can see why she was sexually abused. All of this nonsense of like, how about we just don't touch people without their permission?
But the thing is, the fact that this is so common. That's the thing. It's so
Mm-hmm.
common for men to recommit, reoffend. That's what they call it, reoffend.
Yeah.
When
I
they're
see.
considered, oh, fine young men.
They're fine young men, and it goes back to a male could have sex with 20 individuals, and like they get good job, champ. The moment a female does it,
You're a slut.
you're a whore, you're a slut kind of situation, and it's not right in my opinion because everyone has sex. Well, maybe not everyone. People have sex. It's not just for making babies anymore.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, I'm going to run
yeah.
through some statistics. So
Okay.
the statistics that we discussed were from RAINN. RAINN is the number one place to find support, to find information about sexual assault. According to RAINN, this one was really disturbing. Every
Yeah.
68 seconds, an American is sexually assaulted. That means that on average, there are 463,634 victims ages 12 and up of rape or SA in the United States. Here's my question, though. What about the immigrants?
Yeah.
I think that undocumented immigrant rapes are not tracked. Because it
I don't
says
think so.
specifically an American. And I can imagine undocumented immigrants who are experiencing human trafficking, who are experiencing that fear of, if you don't do this, I'll call ICE, especially now.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think that's something that should be reported too, because they're still
I
in
think so.
America. between the ages of 12 to 34 are at the highest risk years of rape and essay. 12 years old.
which is wild. And you gotta think, so it was Brock Turner. He's been accused of multiple rapes. There we
Oh,
go.
he's been accused. Okay.
Yeah. This is from 2024.
So we're going back a little.
Yeah, because the original one was in 2016, where he only served like 3 months of his 6 month sentence. He was rearrested in March of 2024 and charged with 5 counts, including resisting arrest and driving under the influence.
Sounds like a lovely fucker.
Yeah.
I highly recommend if anyone hasn't read Chanel Miller, his first victim, her book. I have not been mentally ready to read it, but I do want to read it.
Yeah. And I haven't. But I think, I forgot what I was trying to say.
But they get off easy.
They get off easy. What, he had a 6 month sentence, but only served 3 months.
6 months. President. Let's be real. Okay, I want to be real. A black man stole a backpack, went to Rikers, got multiple years for stealing a fucking backpack. This is the issues.
Yeah, this is
America.
And again, people's bodies aren't. What was the one guy? It's your body, my choice.
Nick Fuentes. The fucking Nazi. The one who actually says he's a Nazi.
Yeah. And then when they found out where he lived, it was they got turned on him. I loved that. But your body, my choice, all of that. And I hate that women are seen that way, Even we look at like abortions and stuff like that, where I have seen several people and heard about several people having to have kids due to rape. And then you have to share custody with that person.
It's interesting that you said that, because going back to Law and Order SVU.
Yeah.
That's how Olivia Benson was born.
Yes, yeah.
And I thought that was a very specific reason why they chose that. Throughout the season they touch on it. Yeah. Of how uncomfortable and how her mom treated her, because she looked so much like her rapist.
Yeah. Exactly. That's just how it goes, unfortunately, for the most part. I'm sure there's definitely some cases where they don't have to share custody if you choose to have the child, whatever the situation may be. But it also goes to show, that's what I was going to. You talked about these statistics are 12 to 34 for being the highest risk of sexual abuse. It happens a lot younger.
It does. And that's why. It does. So I don't know why it's the highest risk, though, and why it's not younger, to be frank.
And I'm wondering if that's because.
And the reason why we're saying this is because Mariah worked, like she said earlier, in forensics, documenting sexual assaults. I worked with children of human trafficking and also sexual assault. So that's why we're talking about that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's because it's not talked about, it's not mentioned, there's not much statistic, because it's hard to do that. I just remember. Is that what you mean? Yeah. Or even being listened to. I mean, please teach your kids the right words for their body parts. Please have talks with them.
Yeah. Mariah knows probably what I'm going to say. I sent her this. There is this book kit on TikTok where it talks about consent, when to say no, and your body parts. Yeah. And yeah, it's TikTok, whatever. Who cares? But reading it, like, I've listened to a bunch of different people read different parts, and they're very good.
Yeah.
They're very easy to understand for children.
Yeah. And you don't need to go, obviously, age appropriate. But you don't need to be calling a vagina a cookie or a pocketbook.
What?
Or
a cookie.
A cookie.
A pocketbook.
Pocketbook.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
Call it a vagina. Call it a vag. Call it.
People call it a cookie. I'm sorry, I really suck on that one.
A cookie.
What?
And if you think, okay, I have a 2-year-old and a almost 1-year-old,
Yeah, my baby's a criminal.
but like if I taught my 2-year-old to call her vagina a cookie or a pocketbook, and that's what she knows it as, and then she goes up and says, "Oh, somebody touched my cookie," my first thought would be, well, like, did you share? And that's not okay because what cookie are we talking about? Same with a pocketbook. Somebody grabbed my pocketbook. Somebody put something in my pocketbook. What are you talking about? Teach them these words. Don't call a penis a hammer or a hot dog, or call it a wiener if all I care. But like,
What?
don't give them cute words.
A hammer?
Oh, girl, I've heard it all. And law enforcement can't do anything about it if you're calling it a cookie or a pocketbook. That's when the diagrams, that's when the dolls have to come out because they need to know what you're talking about.
Right. Yeah, like when I was little, I mean, I still do it. My mom's called it a toto. And so, but that's the only, like, that's it. Like, this is your toto. We gotta clean your toto.
Yeah.
That's it.
Nope. I mean, my girls know vagina and penis. And it's funny.
But also, if you call it a wiener, like, hey, mom, I want a wiener. Like, I want a hot dog. Hey, mom, like, what? Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm so stuck on the cookie thing. I don't understand that. So, like, I cannot believe people actually say that in a pocketbook. What are you talking about?
Exactly. Like,
that's just so disturbing.
Yeah. So teach them the right words, or words that are very similar. Vag, vajayjay, penis, wiener, dick. Something.
Maybe don't say dick.
Say dick.
Well,
better than hot dog and hammer.
I know, but like, I'm trying to say, I don't want them to get in trouble at school. My mom taught me dick.
I could care less.
The thing is, I can so see.
As long as you're not calling somebody it.
I can so
feel
see.
free, kid.
I can so see the kiddos saying that. I really can, not gonna lie. But yeah, no, words matter.
Words
diagrams matter.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that you bring up education, because I think that not only, it's kind of why Sam's Sexual Assault Awareness Month was created in the first place. It's actually the 25th anniversary of Sam, which I thought was really interesting. Also really sad. It's only been 25 years.
When you think about it too, like, it's been going on longer. I mean, look at...
Since the dawn of time, or whatever they call it.
Our grandparents, and why do you think they have 9, 10, a bajillion children?
Right, yeah. The first rape crisis center was founded in San Francisco in 1971. In the early 2000s, the goal was to bring awareness to SA, and that meant wearing teal. So that was like the beginning of Sam. But this is the education piece. Why it became more about the awareness. In the mid-2000s, they focused specifically on educating different communities, like college campuses, workplaces. Oh, I said college campuses twice on here. But educating in different areas.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Communities, that's why. But this is the reason why Sam is so important, and why education is so important. Like, because to me, I never would have known people called their children's vaginas pocketbooks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how is that helpful?
It's not. It's not. Just call it a penis and a vagina. It's the terms. Call them breasts or boobs. Call it your butt or your ass. I don't care. Use the words.
This is why I think that's so not helpful to call it something else. Because then they're going to have to relearn and unlearn when they're in school. I mean, kids say a lot of fucked up shit.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays.
I do.
If you're going around calling everything a cookie and a pocketbook, no one's gonna understand. So I think that education is so important.
Hmm.
Also, I'll put that TikTok thing if I can figure that out. I'll put that down there because I do think these books are really important
Yeah, yeah,
because I there's not really important sex ed in elementary schools. I
no,
think in America people are too scared.
exactly. And it doesn't have to be talks about sex. It's can be talks about
No, no touching.
saying no and okay and not okay touches and confusing touches because there's confusing touches too. You have a rash, somebody has to put ointment on it. Who are safe people that can put
Hmm?
ointment on it? Who are safe people that can't put ointment on it? It's an important conversation to have. I have it with my girls now. If you don't want to give a hug, even if
I
it's
was
to
just about
me,
to mention that. I was just about to.
even if it's to me, it might break my heart, but you don't have to give me a hug or a kiss if you don't want to. It's your body, and I'm going to respect that. And that's another hard thing because I always hear, well, they need to hug their family. No, no. If they do not want to hug, if they don't want to kiss, if they don't want to do anything, it's nothing
If they don't
personal,
want to
or
sit
it
on
may
that
be
uncle's lap,
exactly, it might be personal like that. Don't let them, don't force them. They need to have body anatomy, autonomy. They need to have,
I was like, I think I know what she said.
took me a second. Um, and so do us. And teaching them now that no means no, and they're going to be respected if they say it, just like they need to respect other people when somebody else says no. It's okay. It's okay to tell your kid no. It's okay to be told no by a child. It's okay.
Yeah, I think I didn't write this in the thing, but I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Do you think that now that we have a rapist president, that these conversations are going to be harder, especially considering he allowed Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate to come here when they're being charged with human trafficking?
Yeah, because they just eliminated all these words. The list of words that came out that you're not allowed to say in federal stuff anymore. It's expansive. And it goes from talking about equality, like equality is one on there, equity is one on there, abuse is one on there, I'm pretty sure. Sexuality is one on there. All of these things are on this list of you're not allowed to use kind of thing. Like it doesn't matter. So I think it's going to be harder, and it's going to be harder to speak out and be believed.
Do you think there's going to
And
be
then
an
again, I
increase
do have
though?
hope. What was
Do you
that?
think there's going to be an increase though?
Yeah, unfortunately, I do because it's being talked about and it's being allowed. It goes back to what's is not saying it's your body, my choice. It goes back to grab him by the pussy. It goes back to all of this stuff. What Me Too moment came out when he was first president or around that
Yeah.
time. So it can go both ways. I have hope that even if these start to increase, that more people will stand up
Mhm.
and speak out because we're starting to see it. We're
Yeah.
starting to see people speak up. Um, so I'm hoping that
Yeah.
the good will outweigh the bad.
Yeah. I think
Hope.
I know this show has been talked about a lot, but Adolescence on Netflix.
Yes.
Um I do think that as a social worker, I recommend it. I know
Yeah.
Mariah knows the specific episode I'm talking about. Um
Yeah.
I
And I'm not meaning to laugh. We've talked about this and I started watching it and then
She was cleaning.
I was cleaning and my ADHD brain got the best of me, so it was on the background. But this episode
Episode 3.
got me got me back into it, but I need to rewatch it to actually focus. Only reason why I'm laughing.
They talk about Andrew Tate and they talk about incels
Mm-hmm.
and they talk about the change in boys. And they do it in a really well done way.
Mm-hmm.
The difference in why I think it's so well done is because they did it in the UK. I don't think it would be as good if they didn't
Yeah.
here.
No, I can see that.
But I think that more shows, like you said, Hope,
Mm.
more shows like this are going to be created to show the impacts of social
Yeah.
media, the impacts of Andrew Tate and his fucking
Mhm.
psychotic bullshit, the impacts of listening to Nick Fuentes, the impacts of seeing, oh, a president who's been charged with 91 counts of different federal charges, and yet he is still the president of the United States. He's also a rapist and a predator. That matters.
And it's not just him either. You know, you look at Epstein's list and Diddy's list, right? Well, I don't think that
No,
one's been
Diddy doesn't
released
have a
yet.
list. Does he?
I don't think it's been released yet. Or whoever's gone to his
Yeah,
parties.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, I mean, it's not just Donald Trump. There's other names on there of people on both
I mean,
sides.
Bill Clinton was there
Bill
for
Clinton, yeah.
a couple of times, I
Um,
think.
yeah. And you think about that, and just to kind of put that it's not just Republicans, it's not just Christians, it's not just whatever, it's not just white males. There's a lot that's going on that needs to be talked about more, and I think that's important. Like we've talked about Sexual Assault Awareness Month, we've talked about the what is it, the National Sexual Violence Resource Center, which goes like the 2025 theme. I just looked this up is Together We Act, United We Change, which highlights the importance of working together to address and prevent sexual abuse, to enhance understanding that we all deserve to live a safe place and have conversations without being assaulted or abused or harassed or any of these things.
Yeah, I think everyone should be able to go hang out with their friends and not
Yeah.
have to 24/7 cover their drinks.
Yeah, because it truly, I don't think we talked about it, but I do know, what is it? About 70% of sexual assault, harassment, violence is by somebody you know.
Yes. I thought it was higher.
It might be higher now.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, no, you're right. We didn't touch. I think that's one thing that isn't really talked about. I think the media really focuses on like, oh, it's a random person to like up the violence, up the fear. But most of the time it's someone you know. Kind of like me with my ex best friend.
it's funny because I just tried to go onto the RAINN website that we talked about, and it said some of this content is suspicious. That's weird.
Suspicious for
Because it's
what?
a .org website of sexual abuse cases reported to law enforcement. This is just juvenile victims. So 93% of juvenile victims knew the perpetrator.
93.
93.
That leaves a lovely taste in your mouth.
With 50% of those being 30 years or older. 50% of them were white. Yeah. Like we said, we'll share these links for you to do your own information because I could deep dive into this.
And the thing
This is,
what's
yeah,
interesting and what I felt really weird about is you see the government websites and that I wanted to click on them, but I didn't feel comfortable.
yeah,
And that I think is the first time I've ever not felt comfortable clicking on a government website
and that I mean I used
for these statistics.
exactly. And the thing is, like I've been on RAINN website so many times just because of what we do. I've never gotten that this is just a suspicious link before.
Here we go.
And it's a .org, so that's not government, but I mean,
Still educational.
yeah. So that was weird to me, especially with all the stuff that's coming out. I mean, we're putting our names on blast, so if we're already on a watch list.
I know I have a file. I already know that. Mariah and I joke about our FBI guys all the time.
Hi guys.
But I have one last question.
Yeah.
It was kind of a difficult podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But why did you feel like this podcast was necessary? This episode was necessary?
Other than just the month, and the way our country is going. It goes back to what I said in the beginning of I know what it's like to feel alone in those moments and to feel unsure or unheard, and just personally, but I've also seen it. Um, and to have that open and honest conversation of you're not alone. There's resources, there's supports, there's people out there to talk to. I think that's important for not just women, girls, and for everybody to hear because it does happen to everybody. So that's what I think. And yeah, I didn't share all my experiences because there's some that I think only like you and maybe one or two other people know about. Um, but I'm working on them, and it's important to share. It's okay to work on them too. 20 years down the road. So yeah,
It's
that's the
important
reason. How about
to not hold it in. It's
yeah,
kind of what Mariah's talking about.
yeah,
Even if it's one or two people,
yeah,
she still was able to get it out.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
I think it would physically harm her too.
And it has. And I mean, you look at what happened to me in my childhood and how I had relationships and how they weren't the most stable or the healthiest, and my lack in trust in people. Like it definitely impacted me
Yeah.
until I was able to work on it. And shit, there's still days where that's why I had to leave the one job because I was triggered. I wasn't, my mistrust in others was increased. Am I more hypervigilant over my daughters? 100%.
I think also that's because we're social workers, though.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
there's like a
Exactly. Does my partner call me crazy sometimes for my,
yes,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
but
But the thing
he
is,
doesn't hear it.
I also understand because I'm their guy mom.
Exactly.
I get that though.
Exactly. He doesn't understand everything that I hear. And yeah, as a therapist, not every single day is trauma filled. Some days it's gossip.
So
That's how
nice.
it
I
works.
love the gossip days. Gossip days are
Me too.
nice.
But when you hear one to what, how many clients did I have before I left?
26.
20
Oh,
clients
I
a
thought you
week.
said 26.
Oh, no, 20
Oh,
clients a week talking about their past traumas. You, no matter what your boundaries and your self care and everything looks like, you bring that home sometimes.
yeah. Especially if it's back to
Um,
back to back drama days.
exactly. And there are days like that. Like, I just think we need to take off full moons and all of that.
Yeah.
Don't, mm-mm, mm-mm. Um, but it just needs to be talked about and for people to know that they're not alone and there are resources and there are ways to get involved. And if you do want to report, it's okay. And if you don't want to report, it's also okay.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think why, in general, why Mariah and I created Wait Here Please is because
Mm-hmm.
we wanted to normalize taboo topics. We
Yes,
wanted to normalize topics that we don't talk about. It's very hush
exactly.
hush. But it shouldn't be. Sexual
Yeah,
assault should not be hush hush.
no,
Sexual assault happens. I mean, it happens
mhm,
68 seconds every single day in America.
exactly. Which is wild.
And you don't have to report if you do not feel comfortable or safe. But
Mm-hmm.
it is important to at least talk to someone you trust.
Yes,
Now,
exactly.
I do want to acknowledge, though, that sometimes if you talk to someone you trust and they are like a teacher, they
Mm-hmm.
may have to report it, though.
If you are a
If you
child.
are a child, if you're
Yeah,
under the age of 18. So I
yeah,
think these are things you have to consider,
yeah,
unfortunately. Is that
yeah.
fair? Absolutely not.
No,
Should you be thinking about the next TikTok trends or what am I going to eat for dinner? Yeah,
mm-hmm.
you
Yeah,
shouldn't be thinking about this. But I think it's important. And I also think it's important to talk about these situations because of workplace sexual harassments that happen.
mm-hmm.
They don't really address it that much during your
No,
orientations because they don't want to talk about it.
yeah,
They don't want to deal with it. If you know what to look for, if you know what your state counts as sexual assault,
yeah,
sexual abuse, coercion, consent, it's helpful. Is it clear cut? As you could tell, no. It's not.
Exactly.
It's way too blended.
It is.
And like I said, even Mariah and I were like, it's a little too vague.
It's a little too broad. Too much of umbrella terms.
And that's why it needs to be discussed.
Yeah.
Because it's too vague for a reason. We understand this was a hard episode.
Yes.
We understand that it was maybe an uncomfortable episode. Maybe you need to pause it a few times. Who knows?
Yeah.
You need to do what's best for you.
Yeah. Do what's best. Take care of you. If, you listen to this whole podcast, this whole episode, and you need to do something, take care of yourself. Do some form of self-care. Go for a walk. Read a book.
Eat a Snickers bar.
Something.
I really want chocolate. That's
Do something for you, because it is about your mental health. Because we do know this is hard subjects. We do know that obviously it happens to a lot of people, and it's still important to take care of yourself. Even if it happened 10 years ago and it comes back into your mind now because you listened to this. Take time for yourself.
Like Mariah said, you may not realize how much something has affected you.
Mm-hmm.
You may not realize until there's a flashback.
Yeah.
Or you smell something. Exactly. Our minds are very strange in that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's a normal thing that happens. Yeah. And that's why our goal is to break the taboo of talking about this.
Yeah.
Because we want more people to feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And know that they are not alone. Yeah. Unfortunately, we read you the statistics.
Yeah.
It's a disgusting amount of people. Yeah. And this is just reported. Remember that?
That's reported, exactly.
And remember, you have 2 people right here who have not reported.
Yep.
So, you are not alone. We unfortunately have had experiences, very different experiences, but still experiences nonetheless. Yeah. And it shows that no matter what, it still has impacted our lives significantly.
Exactly. And I think, with the intensity that some of these things can come up within ourselves, the memories that come up, because our brains are funny things and our bodies do hold on to the traumas. And I'm going to continue to preach it. Take care of you. Go do something fun. Blast a song.
Color.
Take a color. Do something. Cuddle your dog.
Or cat.
If they don't claw the shit out of you.
What?
Exactly.
My cat. I'm literally showing my arm where Olaf, my cat, literally scratched the shit out of me.
But it's important. And that's something, even in school for social work, self-care was harped on. At least with my supervision, it was harped on. She still gives me shit to this day, my supervisor, of, what are you doing for self-care this week? Ma'am, my coffee in the morning is my self-care.
And
she doesn't accept that.
That is all you can have.
Yeah,
I accept that. I think, understandably, you are a mother of 2. So, I think that's fair.
Exactly. My 30 minutes before the kids wake up, that's my self-care of quiet.
And reading all
but
my
you have to do
messages.
Yes. But you have to do what fits into your day. I'm not saying go out and get your nails and toenails done. Do that. But you can't do that every single day. Find.
You can. Oh.
Get it. Mm-hmm. Find the 5 to 10 minutes to unwind, to take care of you.
Meditate.
Yeah.
Practice on breathing.
If you can do that. Yeah.
This is our social workiness coming into play.
Yeah, I know.
But
you gotta.
I think it's important. So
yeah,
we are excited for y'all to listen to this.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say we hope you enjoyed, because it was a toughie.
It was. I think maybe not enjoy. I hope you learned something. I hope if you've been through an experience like that, you don't feel so alone or feel shame or guilt or anything behind it. Um, and know that if you experience something like this, it wasn't your fault. It has nothing to do with what you did
Or what you were
or what you
wearing.
were doing. Yeah, or what you were wearing or what you drank or anything like that.
Because, like we said multiple times, drug and alcohol, you can't consent.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So remember all of that. Um, and I hope you take care of yourself
Yeah.
the rest of the day or night or weekend or week, whatever you need to do.
Yeah. And let us know what you think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you think that we didn't talk about something enough, if you think we
Yeah.
need to go back, call us out.
Exactly. Feel free to.
Like I said, this is not a small one fits all
It's not.
conversation. So if
And
we
we
have
could
to do
go into,
multiple, that's fine.
yeah. Yeah. We can go into, I mean, I could talk about this for a long time. I could teach. I can talk all about the body safety and all of
Yeah.
this. We could do it.
Yeah.
And if that's what you want, let us know.
Yeah. We're here to
We
break
are.
taboo.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, have a wonderful day or night wherever you are.
Mm-hmm.
Please take care of yourself.
Yes. Please.
And we will see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.